little while after that, I'm still back at that place of work, and I get a phone call on my mobile from one of the directors who had just set up Citigroup's presence in Australia. And he just cold said, "Steve, it's me. We'd like you to come and work for us." And I I said, "Oh, well, my boss has just passed away. But very, very, very thank you. I know your firm, Salamis with Barney, Citigroup, and it was the real deal. They are one of the best companies on the planet." Um, at that time, though, it was just a couple of weeks after, So I said, "It's just, I would really love to meet you." I arranged to meet with the guy, and they'd done everything, to a T, on point. Their office was beautifully fit out. They'd already taken like most of the floor of one of the big buildings in the CBD of Brisbane. Um, they had all the equipment. They had the state manager of ANZ Bank Securities of Queensland and the president of RACQ, which is like the RCV, RAC in the UK. And I still remember all their names. And this is like a quarter of a century later, Mr. Michael Sargent. And he reminded me of a kind of a Michael Caine kind of guy, very sharp dresser, but very well presented and very articulate, and a stockbroker through and through. You could see it, and a gentleman stockbroker. And he was there, and they had cherry-picked and headhunted people from Merrill Lynch. They had people from JB Weir, which is a very, very good Australian firm, household name. Like many people, and then just me, and I kind of thought, well, I was kind of a little bit apprehensive, but I've never really been one to feel like I'm out of my depth, because unless you try something, it's not going to happen. Unless you're keen to do something adventurous, you're not going to do anything adventurous. So I said, you I'll let you know now. I do want to work for you, but just a couple of months' time. So, out of respect for the Morgan, Paul Morgan family, because his son, Paul Morgan Jr., he'd worked in the office, and I knew him as well, and many other things, like his name was well known and respected, and so he passed away on Australia Day 2001, which is the 26th of January, if you're not familiar with Australia Day. And then I started at Citigroup, Salamis with Barney, in about 2 of March, thereabouts. So a couple of months later. And I stayed there all through pretty much the 2000s, through till when they got bought out by Morgan Stanley. Now, when I was there, fortunate again to meet some fantastic people. Through life, if you're sensible and you respect your tutors, your lecturers, your professors, you should similarly do it if you're in the workplace in a professional area, or even as a tradie, like mechanic. You respect the people who've done it and know how to do it and are happy to show you how to do it, because they're the ones you learn from. And so there was a fellow called Thomas Burns Jr. He was a Korean War veteran. He was the head of the Western Pacific franchise for Salamis with Barney Citigroup, and he would often fly to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. So I got to meet him, and I still, a quarter of a century later, still remember his name. Jim Caridio, who, again, fantastic US broker, very sharp, smart guy, and he had the vision to roll out into Australia the fee-based asset under management advisory model that saved the client from paying per trade